Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Final Show Films. I'm Sen, your executive producer, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. I particularly want to thank our $25 tier supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/fsfilms, who would be Jeremy Alexander, Samantha Bates, Cat Waterflame, and Elle, without whom we wouldn't be able to do nearly as much of the things that we do. So thank you all for supporting us there for all the years that you have. And thank you, those of you that are watching at live. These are not the best of times, but we appreciate you hanging out with us and hope that we can make it a little bit more entertaining as the week goes on. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
We're losing Jeremy. Jeremy's going.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gran Terra Shadowfront. I'm Sen, your executive producer, who is currently being whose streaming compound is currently being assaulted by a 3-year-old. So I'm Sen, your game master for the evening, and I'm joined this week by Jeremy and his obsessions.
Hi, I'm Jerry. I am playing Sid, warlock, a changeling warlock who is being reminded how bad of a year 2007 was for psychological horror films. That somehow I Know Who Killed Me is probably the most entertaining of them. Not in a good way.
I feel like if you know who killed you, it sort of ruins any of the mystery.
Oh, don't get me down that rabbit hole. I could go on an hour-long rant about that movie.
Who killed you? Ted. Points.
Lindsay Lohan plays sympathetic twins.
That would imply that
she herself plays both twins.
That would imply that she's either sympathetic or a twin. Anyway,
no, she plays both characters, and when one gets hurt, the other one feels it. And then one of them dies, and the other one does not. Don't ask me to explain.
I feel like that's
Isn't that just the Parent Trap again?
I feel like that's not sympathetic twins. It's just the same person, like in two places. Just one. Anyways, I'm also joined.
So you're saying we have an Olsen twins situation where it's just one girl moving back and forth very fast.
Exactly, very very fast.
Oh, he's a great reference.
Also joined by Cody.
Oliver.
Cody, I'm playing It's from Valar, Hobgoblin War Wizard.
And Jack.
Hi, my name is Jack. I am playing Gentmanar, the half-elven spellslinger, and rather than being one person moving back and forth very, very fast, I am 3 raccoons in a trench coat, not moving.
But if you hurt one, does it hurt the other one?
How many of those raccoons are Rocket Raccoon, and why is it all of them?
They have individual names, and I'll tell you later.
And Mara?
Hi, I'm Mara. I don't know what's going on.
It's the intro.
Zoned out for a minute, and then I don't know.
Always dangerous at this time of the show.
I'm playing Titania Valkorian, Eladrin, Circle of the Grim Harvest Druid.
Our necromantic Disney princess. And Craig's doing something else. Craig?
Hi, I'm playing Grumman Bellmender, Wave the Drunken Master Monk. I am prepared for Swiggle. I'm on island time, as you can see. And I just wanted to say thank you to Jeremy last week for making my stupid no offhand remarks joke. I know that had to have hurt, and I was very touched. In gratitude, no puns this week. Hand to God.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
You have just told a lie.
No puns from Craig.
And
Grumman, on the other hand.
But yes, I thank you, Jeremy. That made my week. It was a rough week for me last week. I'm glad to be back.
Happy to help.
That was I was very touched, genuinely. So thank you.
But not by hands, because he didn't have any.
No, and I was lying. I definitely will still make puns.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Valdez Stonebeard, the Dwarven Samurai, who is probably going to slightly regret this decision, but also is never going to regret this decision.
And unfortunately, we are not going to be joined this week by Nikki or Holly or Ilana. Ilana is still occupied. Holly has a show or a rehearsal. Rehearsal or a show?
Rehearsal.
Rehearsal.
She might be
and
here for the last hour. It
might be
depends.
here towards the end, but yeah. And Nikki is at MomoCon. But as always, Black Lives Matter. Trans rights are human rights. And if you care about the epidemic of gun violence that has been ongoing and unceasing, be sure to call your senator and let them know exactly how you feel at max volume. Because
repeatedly, over and over and over.
If you do nothing but scream in their ear, eventually that's all they'll be able to hear. Because of lasting damage. Anyways. When last we left off, a teleportation circle had been cast. Sin had... I just realized that going by Sen is very easy to confuse with Sin, which is both good and bad. Anyways. Sin had cast teleportation circle targeting Swiggle, the city of pores. Off the coast of Ius Corva, there is a small, most commonly understood to be resort island. Just a few, about a week or so, a week or two's travel, depending on how you're traveling, from the great city of Avalon. They're known as Swiggle. The entire island is the town, and it is it was once documented in a traveler's guide of Ius Corva that if one were to casually happen upon Swiggle unaware that it was there, one might be astounded or delighted or terrified by the vast assortment of colorful lights and expressive faces and music and dance and art and dancing and entertainment and also elementals. For it is a bastion of entertainment in a very dark world nestled in sort of the crook of Ius Corva. And it is there that the Steelhearts find themselves appearing in a teleportation circle. This is unlike any teleportation circle room you've ever been in, though. Normally, these teleportation circle rooms are very sort of singular, isolated experiences where people document the comings and goings. Instead, what you find yourself in is a large, multi-sided, not round, multi-sided room. This sort of large, sort of geodesic dome almost, that has multiple different teleportation circles scattered all around it, and in each one there is sort of a banner that names a significant region. The one that you are underneath is Tiram. Specifically, it says the Tyrian Empire. And underneath those banners, there is a collection of cultural depictions of the distinct places that each one is from. So as the group of you sort of gather yourselves and look around, you are surrounded by this small corner of Gothic architecture with deep blacks and striking golds. There is a suit of Tyrian Legion armor off to one side. There is a small miniature shrine, the God Emperor of Tiram, the original God Emperor of Tiram, not the current one. And a variety of sort of the artistic stylings and inspirations and technological advances on display, miniature airships and things like that, of the great empire of Tiram surrounding you in almost a gift shop-esque sort of mannerism.
By the fucking sundered god, it's a tourist museum.
Oh, perfect. Look, we've landed right in Tiny Taram. Oh, wonderful. You'll all feel right at home.
Well, some of you do notice ever so slightly there is off to one side there is what appears to be some sort of argument via medium of decoration happening in Tiny Taram, where it doesn't seem like the decorators or the display curators are quite sure if they should update it to the current situation or not. So there is like sort of a small plaque that details the current goings on with like a donation basket underneath for if you want to donate some of your money to the ongoing. It seems to be dedicated to some sort of Tyrian Crisis Foundation. If any of you feel like giving charitably.
Gent reaches into his belt pouch and pulls out a lump of wax that he breaks into two pieces and just sticks one in one ear, one in the other, pulls the visor down and just sighs.
Oh, no. Gent, sort of yelling, Gent, you're not going to be, this isn't the virtual reality experience yet. You're going to need to keep those off as you can take everything in as we look around.
Valdez just sort of looks around. It's a bit on the nose, but it's not bad. Not a bad recreation. I'm more excited to see the places that aren't the place that I've already spent a long time in.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. Trust me. I know some of you have been to Swiggle before, but I don't think any of you have had a chance to come to the Dome. This is the Swiggle World Exploration Program Orientation Center, or a Swepcot.
Yep.
So
I knew that pun line was a lie.
That's not a pun. That's an anagram that happened to be funny. No, just please look around.
Could you write that out in chat for me? Because I missed part of it.
Sure.
Do the mail service? Does the Tiny Taram do the tiny mail service? Because that was my favorite thing.
There is a small mailbox off to one side.
Gonna put something in it.
My kids love that. Also, you can take a small card and you can get stamps at all the nations of the world. It's wonderful. Come on, let's take a look.
What do you put in the mailbox?
I think just like a twig or something. It's gotta be something small. So I think
it's like a small it's a small mailbox, but it's still like a functional size of mailbox. Like you could put a letter.
Hi, where does this go to? And I'm just gonna write that on a piece of paper and put it in.
Do you address it to anybody?
To whom it may concern.
You put it in.
Yep.
The after a few moments, there's like sort of a clockwork ticking sound. And then a small hatch opens up and a little miniature rocket just fires off with the letter attached to it. It spirals around you for a minute and then nails Gint in the face.
Grumman leans over to the mailbox and shouts inside, "Good work, Gary!"
A very small thumbs up out the mailbox. I couldn't hear you, Mara.
I love it.
Again, your face is now covered in soot and a letter that asks where this goes to whom it may concern.
Yeah, the letter just ends up on the floor and he just kind of dusts off as much of his face as he can, but he'll just wear the rest of it.
Looking around.
I've never thought of vaguely addressing the letters that you put in that service. I suppose that's what happens.
Yep.
Looking around, you see that there are about a dozen other teleportation circles, each with their own flavors. You see Avalon, Core, Everstone has one. There are a few others. Eleonora also has one.
I want to go look. I'm gonna go. I'm looking around at all of these. This is fun.
Eleonora,
it's the best.
Eleonora's is very much like sort of a those like 3D glass sculptures that people make where it's like there's like little air bubbles inside, and so when you change the way you're looking at it, it changes kind of what you're looking at.
Yep.
It's nothing but that, just everywhere. And so as you walk around, the actual cityscape itself changes, and so you can sort of get several different angles of what the city looks like as you move around the teleportation circle.
Gent is looking for an exit.
It would be the big red curtain that says exit.
Cool.
It's not
Right
through a
there.
gift shop.
Well, the gift
I
shop's
feel like
outside.
it should be through the gift. Okay.
As soon as you step outside the curtain, you're in sort of a tourist bazaar. There is just a number of stalls and people set up selling all manner of goods and food, claiming to be from all over the place. Many of them are sort of decorated to look like their establishment. There are bratwurst that purport to be from Tehran, on with this sort of, again, very like sort of is it engineering inspired sort of like grill section, which is immediately
Legit.
opposite. You look and see it. There's actually there's like the name of the road is sort of like in the cobblestones underneath your feet, and so you see that the Tyrion Bratwurst stand is across what is titled. Hang on, what's it called? Across what is titled the Tyrion Channel. From Desolation Barbecue, which is this sort of like tiki hut style,
Sand on the floor.
like sand on the floor, sort of sandstone and wood construction, sort of just open flame barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
They're making
Okay.
shish kebabs right now.
Yeah. Gent will just post up at the door that he just came out of and just wait for people.
And as you're posted up out there, you're getting a fantastic view of Swiggle, because Swiggle is sort of, to use more contemporary parlance, it's kind of like a combination of Disney World and the Las Vegas Strip. Where it's lots of very tightly packed buildings, most of which have a theme, not all of which are coordinated, all sort of radiating out from a central location where there is Lady of Grain's Palace of Ever-Flowing Beer, which is this sort of... You would swear it's sort of like what you would get if a storm giant was to like create a multi-tiered keg. So sort of a thing where it's just like, if you were to take 5 different barrels of alcohol and staple them on top of each other in such a way that as you drink it, it sort of like, flows through various different spigots all around it. With its own moat of some sort of amber-colored liquid, and what seems to be a parade going on at the moment, passing by it.
I come out, stand next to Gent. Remember, this is not my fault.
He doesn't react because he can't hear anything right now.
Fair.
Nothing except for a deep bass rumble as somebody is really, really hitting on some sort of subwoofer.
Okay. You can kind of feel that in your chest kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if Sin wanted to get across to Gent that thought, Sin is telepathic.
This is true.
So while yep. The rest of you taking taking in the sights of Swepcott?
I have to check. Is there one for Desolation? I'm assuming there's not very many visitors going to or coming from there.
There is not a teleportation circle per se. There is a Desolation Nook, which is sort of stuck between Core and it's stuck between Core and Highgrass, which is one of the Highgrass is one of the larger cities in the Highlands.
It's a sandbox for kids.
It's like sort of a small like like if you sort of look at it from above, it's kind of a recreation of Desolation in miniature, but designed as like sort of an experiential thing. There are like small toy dragons. And
I was gonna say, is there like
dinosaurs,
a tiny blue pseudo dragon that just lords over the whole thing like a
there's
box?
There is a pseudo dragon nearby that's that's just sort of like lounging on something it seems to have stolen from somewhere else in the vicinity, as it's just sort of watching a small pair of children sort of playing in the sandbox with the toy dragon and the toy dinosaurs.
Okay.
Grumman will wave to it.
The pseudo dragon looks up and just sort of like tilts head, wiggles a wing.
Lockheed style. I can respect that.
Take it in and then just head out.
Not accurate at all. I love it.
Was it? Is it known? I mean, I suppose it lacks some of the grandeur.
I mean, like the. I don't know. It's not the same, but it's fun.
It's as I look over at the Everstone section, it's definitely what someone from a tourist board thinks this city that they've never been to should look like.
The Everstone section is a a miniature replica of the cannon towers from Everstone, with
one of the
like
Grand Towers.
Yeah, with toy cannons in it that you can sort of load things up in and fire, and a large oddly shaped rock hanging from the ceiling above it.
What? How, define oddly shaped.
It's like, if you look at it from one angle, it kind of looks like Robert Frost. But if you look at it from another angle, it kind of looks more like Frosty the Snowman.
Is that their attempt at depicting Everstone the deity?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very well polished. Oddly shaped. Looks nothing like Everstone.
It's like I said, it's definitely the kind of thing that a tourist board who's never been to the city thinks it looks like. It's terrible, and I love it.
Oh, in our defense, we did apply to Everstone for them to send a delegation, but never heard back. So
never got the messengers back either.
Can't imagine why.
So we did our best.
I feel like House Darmus would object, and House Darmus is the people who would end up doing that.
Well, they're welcome to file something with the complaints department.
Now I need to see the complaints department.
Yeah, just flag down any of the passing dabus.
No, you don't.
It points to various floating entities carrying plates of trays of beer that are just sort of drifting silently around the city.
Like, I don't have a complaint. I just want to see the complaints department to see what it looks like.
Or they take it to the Lady of Grain.
Oh, that's excellent.
Also,
Can
I
we
should clarify
go-
that the Dabooz is in this case spelled Dabooze.
Yes.
And they're all like beer elementals.
If any of this is too dumb, John, stop me, please.
Have I stopped you yet?
No, you haven't. I'm worried and giddy with power.
The limit does not exist.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm
All right.
pretty sure.
All right, let's at least get moving somewhere out of the entryway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm
We're
not
already
blocking the
outside.
door.
Oh, I
Velvet-
just figured
Velvet
some
will
of
head
you would
up.
like to go for, a little tour, see what the city has to offer.
Yeah, let's go see.
We're seeing it for the first time. I guess my hands are seeing it for the first time. Sort of flexes his weirdly pink, untanned hands.
They're untanned, but just as hairy as they were as
Just
they
as
ever
hair. Well, of course, they're still my hands.
were. So you head out.
Yep.
Finding one of the various streets that leads around. There are
As soon as Grummond comes out, Gent turns to him, and in that weirdly loud way that people with hearing protection in kind of tend to talk. So, are we going to the Broken Bell then?
Well, of course, we're gonna. He's just shouting back as loud as he can. Of course, we'll make our way there. I find certainly you're welcome to stay with my family, but I'd like to show you around. Did you see the snow globes and the souvenir steins in the gift shop? By the way, a middle girl, Poppy, she makes them here.
Wow.
Yes, I'm sure that'll be fine.
Fantastic. You'll be staying with me then. Says it a little more quietly and just kind of gives a thumbs up.
Gonna make an insight check on that one.
go ahead. With
Smiles,
disadvantage.
not
with-
discouraged.
I'll say with
Disadvantage?
disadvantage because you've intentionally plugged your ears.
There
with
we
wax.
go.
Ah.
I'm sure we'll work something out.
Grumman turns around, like double thumbs up to the rest of the group.
I just summoned Joe Satan.
So, as you walk, and with Grumman, doing the tour guide thing, you notice there is a incomprehensibly dense amount of taverns and restaurants and inns in this place. It's almost like if the resort aspect of tourism was the only thing that they really cared about. There are more places to stay here than there are things to do while you're staying here. There's still a lot of things to do while you're staying here, but it's definitely more about the stay than anything else. As you're moving down, so there are a number of taverns and inns catch your eye. There's the Bottle and the Yellow Torturer, the Zombie and the Small Sturge, the Charming Courtier, the Undead Antlers, the Judge, the Wet Nixie and the Cutler, the Horrible Ram, the Rampant Pegasus, the Curved Spider, the Gross Shepherd, the Portly Galleon, the Lamb, the Freighter and the Lighthouse, not to be confused with the Lighter and the Freight House. There's the Distiller Arms, which is a concerning name, the Mocking Minstrel, the Cuddly Lion, the Cowardly Oliphant, and the Curved Stag. That's all one name. And then, of course, there's the Gobbling Priest, the Cock Inn, and the Elf. As you continue on closer to the center of town.
Can we pass Axel's business?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Describe it.
All right. So there's a mixed in with all the places to eat and drink and so on, there are lots of stores, of course, like tourist. And there's one that has a fairly stately looking window display, and inside there it's filled with elven and especially Eladrin fashions on mannequins being displayed. Up to John how busy the place is at the moment, but
pretty busy.
And the sort of, it's like upscale sort of Feywild inspired, and the name of the business is the Ubiquitous Feywearer. And Grumman sort of proudly points to it and says, "Oh, that's my eldest boy's business. Quite a hand for tailoring. If any of you are looking for a bit of finery before we set to sea, I can't recommend him highly enough. Give you the family discounts, of course."
Having seen the sign, Gent does do kind of like a rubberneck side eye at the Cock Inn to see if it's a brothel or not.
No, it's a chicken.
Okay, interesting. Okay, all right, fair
It's
enough.
it's a giant chicken that is animate and
Yeah,
has
yeah.
doors and windows in it.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question one way or the other. Then
Fantastic egg
okay,
sandwiches.
just checking.
It seems to be itself some sort of establishment and attraction. So
Yeah,
It's the boar hat from Seven Deadly Sins, but a chicken.
it's the big chicken that you pass by down the road.
Yeah, I'll stop and take a look. But are we gonna figure out where we're staying first? What's the plan?
We should get that figured out. Yes.
I believe Grummond had offered the Broken Bell as a place to stay.
Oh well, I mean, it's I mean, certainly you could put up there. I mean, it's a bar and tavern. It's not an inn, but you're welcome to
Right.
stay at my house.
Generous. Is there? Where is it? And is there enough room?
Oh, the
for a
Broken
large
Bell.
group?
Just points that direction.
Oh,
I've been there a few times.
I really think you should have just come in when you were here instead of standing outside and peering in the windows at night.
I was just checking in on you.
That's very neighborly of you.
Besides, you don't know how many times I was here.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I don't, and I find that oddly comforting. Speaks so well of your skills. Something about having a friend like you. You're never sure if that new face on the street is someone you already know, and that's something that makes my heart warm every time I think about it. No, you can imagine with a family like the Bellmenders, you tend to go in for an extra spare bedroom or 5. So we've got the room.
Okay.
The offer.
Also, to clarify again for Jack, because I the joke works audibly, but to spell it out, it's the Cock Inn INN. So the
Right.
name is like.
I'd say let's keep going, find this place, and then people who want to stay in and just rest can do that. Then we can. I don't know where it is. If it's close, we can kind of see what's along the way.
Yeah. Is your home near the tavern?
It's not too far. A little bit more up towards the side of town. We'll pass by the Broken Bell, and then we can just head on along out towards the shores.
Sounds good.
Right. Off we go.
Go ahead and
continue sort of pointing out stuff.
Go ahead and describe what they see as they approach the Broken Bell.
As you come up to it, you're sort of passing through some of the more touristy areas and getting into more of the actual docks. I mean, none of this is an industrial town, so there's no, actual business district or anything. But you're getting in more towards the part where cruise ships will arrive and things like that, and where deliveries will come in and things like that. And kind of tucked away on one of the piers out over the water, there is a structure that looks a little bit like one of those U.S. East Coast lighthouses, the sort of squat ones that are built out over the water, not the towers on the coast, but the ones actually on the water. It looks like that, except instead of the structure at the top where a light would be, there is a bell tower, made of sturdy wood, with a large cracked bell inside. Picture the Liberty Bell, and you won't be too far off for the look of it. And the building itself has a broad deck out over the water, with tables and then a screened-in lower floor. The whole thing is made of wood and some wattle and daub. It is not garish and outlandish like a lot of the other things in town. Painted in a few languages by the door, it says the Broken Bell. And then there is a smaller, just actual cracked bell hanging down by the door. Do you want me to describe the inside or just stop
Yeah,
there
go
at
ahead.
the outside?
Keep going.
Okay.
Just for my exterior now, is this like Hooper Strait Lighthouse then, or?
I mean, not too far off.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
So and then the inside on the first floor, it looks like it's a 2-level structure. And so the first floor, the one on the dock, like I said, there's an outdoor deck, and then there are screened windows. It looks like there are probably shutters that could be closed, but they're open now, and you can see inside on this roughly circular structure. There is a back area that's walled off that you can't see into, presumably the kitchen, and then around that there is a semicircular bar. And then more tables spread around inside behind the screened area. And then there is a staircase going up to the top, and you can see windows from the outside, but it looks like there are smaller rooms not as open to the outside world up on the second floor. And everything is sort of it well-worn but well-polished wood with sort of a rosy or cherry glow to it. The interior is lit with sort of open bells that have been changed into lamps and lanterns. And are we going inside? I mean, Drummond is just sort of heading right up and in. And if anyone follows him up and in,
following.
as you go in, the portions of the wall, essentially down below the screens and on the wall behind the door and everything else, there are paintings everywhere, but not framed, just painted directly onto the walls. And there are dozens of faces, many but not all dwarven, many having family resemblances, just painted directly onto the walls. And it looks like this is essentially a sprawling set of family portraits of the Bellmenders at varying different ages, and added onto. New faces are clearly being painted into small corners where there was space was left before. There are also trophy fish hung on the walls, various bits of ironsmithery and iron forgery on display, and a what time of day is this?
But so you teleported away. It was early morning. This is literally the other side of the world, so it's pretty late right now.
Okay, so probably not a meal time, but people sitting around and having, I guess, drinks, maybe a late dinner at this time, and
yeah, it's like almost midnight, basically.
Okay, yeah. So,
which I mean, it's a tourist town, so people are still up and running and operating. So,
yeah, but I mean, and there are probably some fairly obvious touristy faces, but not a lot. This looks like a local.
And as you're looking at the faces, most of you, I think, do recognize. You recognize the painted face of Keegan Bellmender, the dark skin and brilliantly multicolored afro dreadlock combination. Looks exactly that looks exactly like you remember him looking when you met him. And then you see another one that at least one of you sort of does a double take at, because it's unmistakably crunchy, but it looks respectable. He's got a cleanly shaven beard, or cleanly trimmed beard, wearing sort of dressed up in a fairly nice outfit. Hair is neat. It doesn't look like he just fell off of a drinking competition.
Wow, Grumman, do you have a portrait?
Oh, of course, right over here. We started with us, and he'll sort of point back towards the bar, and you can see back behind the bar, there is very clearly a much younger Grummond, next to sort of with his arm around and with her arm around him, painted up, and you can see apparently a dwarven woman of similar age, medium toned brown skin, shortcut black hair, sort of curly sideburns, and then sort of around the two of them, you can see, looks like sort of spreading out from there are various faces that,
including
some around that seemed. Sorry.
I like to think that because you've got the mutton chops and handlebar, she's just got a chin beard to complement.
That's that. Okay, yeah, I like that better. Yeah, she's just got the chin. So when they kiss, it's a perfect. It's a perfect match.
Fantastic.
Lovely, Grummond.
Cute.
As soon as we get inside, Gent has taken the wax out.
Yeah. It's much quieter in here than it was outside. Like I said, it is late at night at this point, and so while there are still people partying, this is enough out of the way and enough on water that you don't get too many people that are already blitzed coming this way, because most of them end up rolling into the water and having to get pulled out. But there is an amount of nighttime service going on. There are people that are nocturnal generally. You see there is what looks like, in one corner there is either the largest owlin you've ever seen or an actual owlbear that has learned to walk on its hind legs, sitting in a corner with a veritable buffet of food and drink in front of him. Having conversation with a few other avian-esque individuals. There is another variety of varying skin tone, drow elf, wood elf, durgar, couple of I can never say the word, but the deep gnomes.
Vervneblin.
That. It seems like more of the
Meow
people
meow.
the people that tend to be more nocturnal are definitely here. And there's a variety. You see about 3 or 4 of the painted bellmenders on the sort of maneuvering around, talking to customers, tending bar. They all have turned and looked and sort of nodded at Grummond, and then have gone back to doing their work.
Grummond sort of nods and smiling around with pride. He's also saying hello to a lot of the faces that are sitting around in here.
So exactly how Cracker Barrel is the interior decor here?
It's less Cracker Barrel and more, the way I described it to John was like, picture when you're on vacation somewhere and you are so tired of eating at Cracker Barrel or Margaritaville or whatever, and you go and you find a local and you say, please God, where do you eat in this town? And they direct you to like some weird place behind the tire shop.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the vibe here.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like you go in there and you're like, why the hell is this back here? And then you have the best fried catfish you've ever eaten in your life. That's the vibe.
That's the vibe. Right.
And because it's built out on the docks, it kind of almost has the feeling of like a ship galley to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't describe. Yeah, actually, as you look up, you can see there is even a lower dock, and it is very like there are empty crab pots and stuff down there. It is very clearly where ships come up and deliver seafood directly to the kitchen here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As all quality seafood places should have.
Right.
You're not a seafood place built on the sea. You're doing your job wrong.
Might not be doing your job wrong, but you're not doing your job as well as you could.
It's like it little bit like Maine lobster pound vibe in that way.
Alternately, you're a front for the local thieves guild.
Right.
I mean, why not both?
Example, in the home games, the shared Forgotten Realms for the home games I'm in, the fishing and tackle shop in Mistranner.
Wonderful. I approve.
So yeah, you are all inside the Broken Bell.
Who's behind the bar? Is it Hedda still at this time of night?
No. It's no Hedda. Hedda generally runs the day shift. At this point, hang on. Let me pull up that list of names.
It could be a cousin or something.
Actually, at this point, it's Greta.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So then behind the bar you see an older salt and pepper version of the woman of the dwarven woman who was in the painted on the wall, and Grumman is in that case like headed directly there. And I say, oh, excuse me, everyone, just a moment. If you don't like public displays of affection, you may want to look away. And then starts headed for the bar. And he goes, oh, there, my bubbly glass of lager. Guess who's home? And we'll sort of run over and hop across the bar and go to tackle her in a big bear hug.
As he hops across the bar, she actually like beats him to it and like scoops up underneath and ends up picking Drummond up, sort of like catching him out of the tackle.
He will do like a T pose in the air.
Yeah, like. Fuck, I had a thing in my brain. Well, now you should. Now, what? Now, why didn't you send a letter or something letting you know you're going to be home, my love? As she, like, sort of picks you up, spins you around, plants a kiss on you, and then sets you back down.
And again, there's that, like, interlock of facial hair. Just perfect, like, spaceship dock.
Oh,
yeah. And then Grown says, oh, I would have, but, you know, I didn't have hands for a few days there. Look, brand new.
Look, just look. You're gonna have to explain that one to me, love.
I keep telling you, retirement, it keeps you on your toes and off your hands, apparently. Come, meet my friends. Meet my friends. This one's Titania. She reached in and pulled out some new bones. And this one here is Gent. Just leans over and says something quietly.
Very pleased to make your acquaintance, ma'am. It's been a great honor traveling with your husband.
And Sin
she gives you a look that is the same look you would give somebody that told them that you would give somebody that told you that they had magical snake oil that'll cure everything that ails you.
Excellent.
Sin is Morgan now.
No.
Oh,
Sin is in their masculine dwarf persona. Jackson.
Okay. Has Grumman met
I
Jackson?
feel like probably at some point, because it's the persona that he uses generally, that they use when they came here to visit.
Okay. He, him?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, it's Jackson. He's the one I told you about that's been peeking in through the windows this past year. Who sort of, I guess, Scuzz and Vespia are there
Annabella
well.
and Vespia are all there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Introduces each of them. This is Ithram. Absolutely fantastic. Nothing comes from Desolation. Nothing like the sandbox. You wouldn't believe it. Well, a bit like it, but much bigger. And I apologize, Cody. What is the name of Ithram's familiar?
Shakar.
Shakar. We'll go. Don't worry. I'll run in the back and get some of the candied mice. Valdeth over here.
Where out of the candied mice, my love? And she says, pointing towards the owlbear.
Oh, don't worry. Well, we'll find something else. Don't worry.
Shakar's head 180 turns and just looks over there. Stays on my shoulder, but just looks.
Grumman will lean over towards Shakar and sort of lower his voice and says, don't tell anybody from the Lady of Grain's food standards office, but this time of night, pretty good hunting down by the docks. And gives a wink to Shakar. And this is Valdeth. Royalty has come to visit. Also, just absolute dab hand with a blade. Chop mines off. Did a right fine job. With consent, of course. There was a whole, we'll talk about it later, whole thing, magical thing. You know, I was trying to hold this wee one's hands because he was getting his hands chopped off. And we'll talk more about it later.
There's a concerning amount of hand chopping happening on these adventures of yours.
I said, retirement is much harder than I thought it would be.
It's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am. Thane Valdeth of Everstone, of House Stonebeard. And I promise it was only the one time, and I have no intention of maiming your husband ever again.
Oh, don't feel
Didn't
bad.
find
I've
the-
certainly maimed him a few times myself, and it always grows back.
There's a wink and a pinch.
Well, welcome to the Rockin' Bell. Please, any friends of my dear loves, eat and drink for free. Sit at the bar, enjoy yourselves, have some menus. Let us know what you're after. Kitchen's still running, so though like I do say, we're a little bit low on the candied mice. So if you're looking for something special like that, give us a little bit of time to source it out.
And I told them they could stay with us. Hope that's not the problem. Usually this time of year, I know we keep the guest rooms aired out. So
Oh no, I haven't heard from Crunchy or Keegan anytime lately. So rooms are pretty free. Nobody's staying at the house right now.
oh, good. Has anyone heard from Crunchy in the past year? Told you I ran into him, or well, I didn't, but this lot did.
I mean, I haven't heard from nobody that's spoken to me has heard from him in the past year or so. But I mean, you know how he is. He'll disappear off the face of the earth for a decade or so, then come back wanting some money.
Probably still down in the hive.
Yeah.
You said he was right lost, didn't you? He turns to the others.
He did not seem to be as familiar with the hives as he claimed to be. We
No.
recommended that he left after
Oh yeah,
Our-
no,
our employ.
Crunchy's typically as good as he sells himself to be. It's just that ever since the incident, he couldn't keep himself away from the drink and couldn't stomach it as well as he used to be able to. So, when he gets too much in him, it sort of rattles the brain and makes him forget things. But he's pretty good when he's sober.
He's from my side of the family. Keegan's from this one side of the family. That's,
Aye, you can tell by the snobby dressing and hair.
Hey, we met Keegan as well while we were in the hive. Keegan
Oh,
seemed
did
to
you?
have a much steadier handle on things.
Keegan typically does.
She would know because we got a chance to talk about that. That was
Yeah.
that was last year.
Oh yes. What can I get? What can I get to group you?
At the moment, something solid to eat and something strong to drink would be appropriate.
All right.
Well, what's the
Rest of
freshest? I'd recommend the most recent thing off the boats.
you? Oh well, we did get our just thinking for a second. I mean, most of the boats come in the morning, but we did get a late boat in with some interesting fish. Seems like they pulled it up from what was it? It was some of the lads decided they wanted to go on a dare and drove their ship directly into a whirlpool. And when it came back out, it had this thing sort of stuck to the prow. Let me go get it. And she sort of like heads back into the kitchen.
Ooh, this I've got to see. You'll stay here and make yourselves comfortable. And Grumman will follow Greta into the back.
And
Love,
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just love that they drove into a whirlpool. Hey, this thing's stuck to our boat. Let's eat it.
Welcome to Resort Town.
Yep.
It's the high seas equivalent of roadkill.
Yeah.
For those of you that for Valdeth, at least, and anybody else, if you've placed an order, somebody else does come over and sort of begin putting down food as it's been as they very quickly have been preparing things. People have been sort of listening in to the conversation, waiting for a food order, and when something was said, it immediately went to start getting made. Grumman, as you're taken back into the sort of the walk-in freezer in the back, where there's a whole bunch of sort of like stacked up dry ice in this sort of self-contained room, you are greeted with. You're pretty certain it's a fish because it came out of the water, but that's a really big mouth and a lot of teeth for a small body. And weirdly, it's got this like sort of dingleberry thing hanging off the top of its head.
Okay.
It's massive, whatever it is.
Excellent.
I'm not
I
too certain.
I love giant anglerfish in a whirlpool.
I'm not too certain what it is, but it must have come from somewhere deep because they rode that whirlpool down for a good 10 minutes.
It's always good to have something. how certain are we that it's not poisonous?
She looks at it, reaches over and grabs like a little bit of crab meat, and just sort of like jabs it onto one of the teeth, pulls it back, and looks at it. 60-40.
That would test for venomous, not poisonous.
Good enough for me. All right. Let's see what we can do with it.
Go ahead and give me a chef's utensils roll with advantage because you're in your home turf.
Okay. And I will point out I sent you a GM whisper, which will involve a slight delay in the process before we reemerge.
I also sent you an unrelated GM whisper.
I have
All
not
right.
sent you a GM whisper.
I feel like I should send a GM whisper.
Oh,
Mine was just
with
relaying
advantage.
a message from Slack.
Also give me a
23.
constitution. Also give me a constitution saving throw.
All right. 26.
All right. They're gone for a while.
Okay.
There are a number of activities one could get up to in a kitchen that would be against the health code.
Do you really care?
Yes.
I don't.
If it's proximal to the prepared food that I'm going to eat.
All of you
pretty
have
certain
been.
your prepared food's already here.
Craig, what's the house drink?
It is the it is the clapper. Because we're at a place called the Broken Bell. And it is a sort of a dark coffee heavy stout, into which a placed essentially in a cup that looks like an upturned bell, into which a metal shot glass filled with a rich smoky whiskey is dropped. And as you drop it in, it makes a muted because it's falling through liquid, but it makes a boom sound.
And so the whiskey only mixes with the rest of the drink as it's being served, basically.
Yeah. Well, and the goal is you pick it up and you shake it, and it makes a bell ringing sound. Yeah.
Yeah, you've all been.
So it's
provided that
a
and-
fantasy Boilermaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Excellent.
You've all been provided that, along with a few other appetizers, and if anybody ordered more substantial food, that as well. About an hour later, Grummond returns with something that has been very thinly sliced and cooked very thoroughly. That to you all at the moment smells unidentifiable.
Who's up for a rare treat?
Sure, why not? I'm
All right.
at least half as resistant to poisons as you are.
I believe that's mathematically exactly correct.
I'll try some. What?
Absolutely.
This is the mystery fish?
Aye, it is from the heart of a whirlpool.
I was speaking rare as in commonality or how well done the meat
Oh
is.
no, you don't want to eat something you don't know if it's actually rare. Rare is in commonality, well fried, well seasoned.
Very good.
Be happy to try.
And because it's late, there will also be a certainly some fried potatoes, but also a variety of vegetables and salads with it,
So you all eat,
and cheeses.
you all eat all of you that have decided to eat the mystery fish,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and you all sort of pause almost at the same time. It tastes like licorice.
fish form.
Clarify.
It's
There
the
are
texture.
different licorice flavors.
It's the-
Please clarify, because
It's
most are
the,
gross.
it's the texture of fish, and the taste of black licorice.
Yep.
Ugh.
That's quickly leaving the mouth. It
Paula
sure
tries
is.
it and it's like, it's weird. I don't dislike it, but it's weird.
I agree with half of that statement.
I definitely a sort of it tastes like anise.
Bit of a fennel sort of vibe to it.
I
did.
like it. Tatani's gonna
Hey,
put that on salad.
Oh yeah,
There
no.
you go.
Gent grabs 2 more pieces. Yeah.
It's not quite what I was expecting after any gestures at the plate and a half of crab, because he's never had shellfish before. So he just not quite the same as that, but it is. And he grabs another piece and just chews on it a little bit.
Well, I hope you like it. Now you can see why I was so interested in trying to catch one of those great big sharks you call off your coast back home.
Those of you that finish your licorice fish, you have resistance to bludgeoning damage to your next long rest.
Nope.
As you feel oddly flexible, almost like you can feel your skin tightening up a little bit and getting a little bit of springiness to it.
Ooh. Tingly.
Nope. Absolutely not.
The mystical art of the culinarian is incredible. Also, that needs to be a class at some point that I'd probably have to homebrew myself. The literal dungeon meshy, the adventuring culinarian.
I will play the hell out of that.
I feel like that's one of the
It's been
It is-
homebrewed many times.
It's been homebrewed many times. It is not an artificer subclass. I wish it was.
It
It's
has
not
never.
artificer. It's not a craftsman subclass. I wish it was.
It is never that I have seen been homebrewed well. Either it's underpowered to the point of certain prestige classes in 3-5 level underpowered, or it's overpowered to
I
the
was gonna
point
say.
of other
Certain
prestige classes.
I was really hoping that's what was coming next.
Uh-huh.
2 ends of the bell curve on that one usually. Yep.
Drummond, I wanted to ask, because I know I don't know how long the shop's going to stay open, but the one we passed that
The ubiquitous Feywearer.
yes, how long is that still open? Do you think by now?
Oh,
It's
even if
late.
it's not, I'm certain we could get Axel to open it up. That's family after all.
I wouldn't want to be a bother.
No, no.
Sorry,
not
which
at
shop
all.
is this?
It's my boy's shop. We passed by. It's the one with the. Oh, that's right. You were listening to your stories. It's the one with the that we saw. It's called the ubiquitous Feywearer.
Oh yes. No, I saw the sign.
Aye. That's my boy's shop.
Oh.
Real talent for
Well done.
for fashion. Aye.
Owner, or I mean, simply proprietor, or is it is his work as well?
All his own work. Candidly, no head for business, that one, but a beautiful shop, beautiful fashions, and there's a sense to hire folks to run the business side of it. So he gets to do what he loves, which is all anyone could want for their child.
Indeed.
All my kids honestly took after things that well, there's always one, but Keg's
really?
young.
Which one
He'll
is
come
that?
around? My youngest, Keg. But he's still at that age where there's time, for him to really find his path.
Well,
Well, we're friends. He kind of leans in. He took up accountancy.
Ah, man of figures.
Like I said, he's still young. He's got time.
Does he enjoy
he's
it?
only 100.
He says he does. And I'm sure, youthful passions, that sort of thing. But
Ah, you're worried he's doing it, but it's not really his calling.
yeah, I think he's just honestly a bit taken in by the glamour and thrill of it all. You want someone with a good steady pace, not these flashing numbers, clacking keyboards, that sort of thing. But I'm proud of him. Of course. But
He's happy.
yes, I suppose.
Is he here in town, or is he doing the accountancy?
Oh, he's here in town. He's over in the accountancy district.
Oh, there's a whole.
district.
My goodness, there's a whole district.
We don't like to talk about it.
Fascinating.
It's over. Pfizer's, you can always tell them they roam the streets and gang. Pfizer's down low, Abacus at their sides.
Right in.
Damn
I
it, Joey.
tap on the goggles.
Well,
Oh
Tiniest little spectacles.
no, the thing is that that has to exist now in Stardust because that's absolutely the domain of one of the Stardust DMs.
I don't mean to divert attention. It was in my head and I had to share it because otherwise it would stay there.
What? Did you post a thing?
yeah.
I posted a thing in Roll20 chat.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Well,
Fantastic.
best of luck to him then. Hopefully, things turn out all right.
He will, if you will let him, he will reach over and sort of pat the back of your hand.
Ah, mhm.
Thank you, Gent. That means a lot.
Well, as no stranger to the mathematical temptations myself, I like to think that I've directed my path in a way that's still productive. But if you ever need any advice or suggestions, or even to point him towards someone who has
Use an
maybe a
accountant.
toe in the field, but not really both feet in.
You think you could get him away from accountancy and into warfare or gunplay or something? I'd appreciate that.
Well, like it's a gateway gun, as they say.
That means a lot, Gent. Perhaps.
And
we
you
could,
know your son better than I do. I don't know if this would be a helpful suggestion or not, but
Well, you've got the goggles, so I can see how it would be sort of a transition.
just a thought. No pressure,
Very much appreciated.
of course.
I've called my favorite thing from someone else. None of you can have it.
That's you can't call dibs until you get there.
We've done it many times.
Yeah, it's true. Weirdly, people keep honoring it. I don't know why.
I won't. I refuse. I'm gonna go to the shop. Back.
All right.
Are you looking to go by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I should probably, at least I should go with you.
Well, I don't want to take you away. You need to catch up with your family.
Oh, it's all right. I will be catching up with family.
All right. Okay, sure.
That's right. We'll be back. Head of love. I'm going out to Axel's. I'll be back in a little bit.
Greta, you
Shouting
mean?
over to the bar. Yeah, sorry.
All right, just make sure to keep an eye out. The visors are out late tonight.
Right. This nice young man with the gun has offered to have a talk with Keg.
Oh, that'd be good. Accountant's a dangerous work. We don't want any family in it if we can avoid it.
Aye.
Almost as bad as legal.
Oh, don't even think about going over to the lawyer district.
I feel like there's a record scratch.
Yeah, it's like-
Everyone
it's
in the
like-
bar
yeah,
is
it's
just like,
Do you want to summon them here?
Right. Those who must not be named.
My goodness.
Watch it.
what are you doing? Don't mention the parties of the first part.
Especially don't mention the parties of the second part.
Now you do it one more time and they appear.
Bloody lawyers, bloody lawyers.
Say it a third time.
Say it, I dare
So,
You do it one
Titania,
more time, you get a cease and desist.
you.
Titania and Grummond and anyone else going with? Back to the clothing store.
Sure.
I feel like someone from House Chainwalker's having an aneurysm right now, fellas.
As you're walking, go ahead and give me a perception check, everybody.
$15. It's a terrible roll. My
11.
goodness. I'm distracted by all the lights.
It's an average roll.
21.
It makes sense. Grumman's a native. He knows what he's looking for.
Right. Sorry. Who all's going with? Sin.
Titania
Grummond?
seemed to want to go by herself, so Gent's stand behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ithram, Valdeth, and the rest are all staying behind. So it's just those three.
Yep.
So Grummond, as you're going, you sort of pass by one of the various like maze-like alleyways of Swiggle, and you do hear. You do hear what sounds like the rapid clacking of wooden beads coming out of the alleyway.
Everyone think of an imaginary number just in case.
Hey!
Roaming gangs of accountants.
I'll look over in that direction. Anybody I recognize?
You don't. You don't. There's not a place you can see. It's definitely like sort of coming from like around a corner. You'd have to actually go into the alley to see what was making the sound.
The best thing to do is just keep walking in these cases.
Ignore it. Fine. I can do that. Bong going.
Are you going to ignore it and keep going, Grummond?
I mean, I assume that's the standard response in Swiggle, correct?
For most people, yeah, but you're an adventurer.
You ignore it and keep going. That just lets the accountants show up behind you.
Right. All right. Somebody might be getting audited. Let's go. That's what you have to watch out for. They'll come down, they'll surround people, they'll track them down, and then they'll give them just a sudden audit in the alley. They don't actually take anything, but it takes for bloody ever.
Okay,
Let's
so
go,
this
fine.
is a rescue mission, possibly.
Broadly, aye.
Okay.
So I will try to sneak up to the edge of the alley and look in.
Don't give me a stealth check.
Okay.
Do the rest of us do that?
Are you
I
sneaking?
think so.
I got a 12.
I think I'll do it. I think I'll do it. Let's see. I'm
Jackson has stopped exactly where he is and is just letting them do their foolishness.
it's not I'm not at disadvantage, should be 14.
So neither one of you are particularly quiet. As you head to the edge of the, head down the way, go down and sort of sidle around to the edge at the far end. As you get to the far end, of the alleyway, you see a couple of things. One, you see that there seems to be some sort of light source casting a shadow. It's hard to make out what the shadow is exactly. But as you turn the corner, you see a couple of things. One, you see a pair of boots that have seemingly been divested of their owner. you see what looks like a blood stain, and next to a lantern that has been put on the ground, you see an abacus standing up by itself. And as you sort of turn and look, you watch as a couple of those beads click closed.
So it looks like, in this case, the auditor has become the audited.
All you got is boots, blood, and an abacus.
Do I recognize? This is a dumb question, but that's part for the course for what I've created this episode. So I apologize. Do I recognize the boots?
No.
Okay. Well, that looks worse than standard accountancy. Hey, who's back there?
You hear
That's a voice.
you sort of hear sort of like the rush of wind, but no response. There's this whoosh.
All right, I'll move on up to where the boots and the abacus are, looking around.
I'm gonna do something stupid.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna cast I'm gonna cast protection from evil and good on Grummond.
Okay.
Clearly something's afoot, and
Yeah, there are no feet,
think-
actually. There's boots.
yeah, I didn't think
Yay.
accountants were that terrible, but possibly. I don't really know what's going on. So you are protected against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiend, and undead. Grummond.
It's good that you've that you've sussed out that something is afoot, because Grummond, as you get up to the boots, you see that there are disembodied feet inside the boots.
Inside the boots, okay. Does it look like a clean cut, or
No, it looks like something was ripped out of these boots, and the
Okay.
feet stayed.
Is this like a standard Saturday night in Swiggle, or does this strike me as bad?
I mean, where accountants are involved, it's hard to tell, but it definitely seems bad.
Grummond, is this normal? Titania's behind you and is like peering over your shoulder at this point.
I mean, to be clear, no, right? Like, the accountants don't actually kill people usually. This seems to be a dead accountant. Am I reading this right?
You have very intentionally tried to avoid the accounting district.
Okay.
There are tales of accountants, auditing people to death.
Okay.
You may have thought it was hyperbole before.
Okay. I mean, I've heard stories, but you know how it is. A family member turns to this sort of life, and you don't like to believe what you can hear.
Are accountants evil in this world?
Vespia has decided.
Vespia!
Oh, I wasn't
Green,
sure
where
if I
did
was
you come
there.
from?
That's fine. You weren't here to make the decision, so you were quantumly in both locations at once until you were observed.
What locations were that?
So
By Schrodinger, where did you come from?
Titania was going to Grummond's eldest son's shop to go shopping, and so Grummond, Titania, and Sin were headed that way, and then Valdeth,
Okay.
Ithram, and Ghent, and
The
Scuzz
quantumly
and-
locked NPCs.
and Annabella are still at the Broken Bell Tavern.
We have established that there are roving gangs of accountants in Swiggle.
Okay, she's probably back at the tavern then. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure. I thought we were all together.
No, that's fine.
No, I can imagine jumping in the middle of, especially this episode. You might have some questions, and I apologize.
You hear the click of wooden beads, and as the two of you that are in the alley look, that abacus is gone.
Is that anything I'm familiar with from rumor or stories?
I mean, not explicitly, no.
Okay. Well, it turns and looks at at Titania, and I'm sorry to make a liar out of myself, but turns and looks at Titania and says, I don't know about you, but to me, there's just something that doesn't add up about all this.
Yeah.
You're not sorry at all. Not even a little bit.
Just a little bit.
You notice
No.
you notice out of the corner of your eye, Grumman, there's a slip of paper stuck underneath the heel of one of the boots.
It's an IOU.
I will pick it up.
You know, it's a sort of small like note. You unfold it, and it says, "Debt consumed."
Oh, thank God, it's just the mob. No,
Drummond, I've read a lot of ghost stories. This is generally where you want to not be, in the alley. I think we should go.
that's probably right, but I feel like we should. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to leave these feet here by themselves. Should show them a proper end or a.
Okay. Poke. I'm gonna decompose.
Oh wait, no, I meant bring them back. Oh, okay.
The feet rot in their boots.
And sprout up, and there are flowers.
So it's boots with
There are
flowers.
now specifically blood lilies.
Yep.
Coming out of a boot, which is going to eventually decay on its own,
Uh-huh.
and then it will not be able to survive because it's on a brick
mean,
in a
if there's,
stone
like-
alley.
It could survive. I have hope.
It's a flower boot. They can plant those lilies somewhere else.
Yeah.
Does
we
it
could
look
pick them up.
dwarven? Could we have told by the
Make
shape of the boot?
Make a medicine check.
I pick up the boots. I have a bouquet.
You have a boot. You have a boot K. Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. 16.
16. You would put that at too long, not wide enough to be a dwarven foot. You put that at most likely somewhere in the not big enough to be an orc, but not small enough to be a dwarf. So in that range between.
In the human-esque range.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So humans, elves, half elves, things like that.
Well, I'd better go at least find Axel, make sure he's all right, and see if he knows anything about this.
Humans
And
are
also
just
do a
flesh
bit of shopping.
ganassi.
Sorry, what was that, Craig?
I was just saying, well, we better let's go find Axel. Let's make sure that he's all right. And let him know, see if he finds out anything, and do a bit of shopping while we're there.
Yeah. Carrying boots along with.
Oh, here,
So-
let me carry one.
Okay.
So Sin, they exit with a pair of boots with blood lilies growing out of them.
I don't even want to know. Let's just keep going.
I hand you my boot.
Nope.
Yes.
You walked
I
in.
hold it out.
You walked in to an alley and came out with a boot. That boot is yours.
All right.
I'm curious about this particular accent.
I think the auditors got him. Them. Whoever it was.
Get consumed. Does that ring any bells to you?
Make a history check, Sin.
All right.
Can Titania and I do this?
17.
Yeah, the two of you can make a history check too.
No, I'm not going to.
I got a
do not
6.
pay attention to that.
Sin. Debt consumed is not a phrase that you
Right.
have ever heard of. It's like in relation to financing. It seems to be very specific, and if something was murdered, it leads you to a very specific thought. Like, debt consumed. What was consumed? Well, the only thing left are feet.
The person was consumed.
That appeared to be the case.
We're
Does that
looking
mean
into
anything
this,
to you?
aren't we?
The accounting district in this city is run by devils.
I mean that if the debt was your person, that's going to tell me it's you've devoted your entire self to something and you owe that entity that. Therefore, warlocks.
Like, you could, like, the things that pop into your mind mostly are, some form of undead, some form of demon, some form of devil.
Yep.
Those are sort of the three primary oeuvres that you.
Exactly. I'm talking about the victim.
Oh
in
yeah,
this
victim. I mean, it's possible. It's
Warlock,
also possible.
Some sort of something where you have put your entire corporeal person in body in debt to something,
Or that was just deemed to be the equivalent in whatever gold value you owed.
Right.
Your account got high enough that it was time for liquidation of you.
If you really, if this is gonna, if we need to answer this, I would need 10 more gold, but I can ask the god of death a question.
Well, that's handy. Grumman will fish in his pockets with the hand not holding the boot.
Listen.
Let's see what I have.
But
I have 32 gold. He pulls out 10 gold.
Jeremy?
pieces.
Listen, I'm not saying that this isn't something that's important. But we literally have the entire world's fate in our hands. We don't have to turn this over to the authorities and let's move on.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not much even I can do with just feet left over, which is why I did this.
I say there's not even feet left over now.
They're already gone.
No, I understand. I just would like to make sure at least people are aware of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I understand. Bigger fish to fry, and after that dinner, that's saying something.
Fair. Should we keep going?
Yep. All right. Eventually, with a slightly more hastened speed to your step, you arrive at the now closed establishment of the I've forgotten the name already.
Ubiquitous Feywearer.
That one. Ubiquitous Feywearer. Grumman, odd. So you're used to buildings being closed, even though Swiggle is effectively an all night thing. You're not used to shutters. And
That's
like
not
not only is the house like that, like the building is closed, the windows are like metal shutters have been lowered over the exterior to prevent access.
Something tells me Axel's already aware of what's been going on. I will go up with one of the with one of the. I guess actually that's not terribly inaccurate all the time for Grumman, but with his free hand, he will go up and bang on one of the metal shutters and go, Axel, wake up, lad. It's your pa. I'm back. I brought some friends. They want to buy some things. Also, we got some boots. Took them off a dead man in an alley.
One way to announce it. I guess.
There was silence until you said dead man in an alley, and at dead man, you hear the furious sound of bolts unlocking. And then the door opens, and the thinnest dwarf the other two of you have ever seen. Almost looks like a halfling, but is built too broadly to be a halfling. Just throws open the door, reaches out, grabs Grummond by the suspenders, and yanks him in, going, "Don't talk about that!"
Axel, my boy! Ah! And just disappears through the door.
Hi.
God
No.
damn it.
Axel, those are my friends. It's rude to leave them outside. Also, maybe dangerous.
The gaunt dwarf who is Axel sort of leans back out. Come in.
That's my boy.
Thanks. Of course.
I
Head on in.
Closes the door behind you. Inside, there is this resplendent array of clothing, all manner of mannequins dressed with a variety of clothing, all inspired by the Feywild, ostensibly. Very, very elegant and almost over the top. In some cases, definitively over the top in a particularly Fey manner. Just sort of lining the building, lots of greens and golds and blues and rainbows and all manner of colors. A very festive looking interior, which belies what feels like a sort of almost a panic attack that Axel seems to be having as they close the door and lock what looks to be about 25 locks on this door.
Wow. So
What on earth is going on, my boy?
Looks over at you. Looks back. Leans over and sort of peers out through a small crack in the steel shutters. Doesn't look like they followed you. Looks back. Where, right, you go away for, years and don't know things.
It's called retirement. We've talked about this, Axel.
Yeah, I know. It'd be lovely to be able to be old enough to retire. That's great.
Oh, it's not all cakes and roses. I got my hands chopped off.
Oh,
Funny
night.
will gently pat
Gestures
his,
towards your hands.
arm.
Well, Titania grew him back.
Yeah. Hi. I don't know exactly what's going on, but if things happen here tonight, you've got backup. I mean, we've been doing the adventuring thing for a while, and I think we're pretty good at it. She's going to cast Death Ward on this guy.
What does that look like?
I think she just gently patting his shoulder, his arm or something, and there's a frisson of magical energy, I think it looks like the outline of a suit of armor.
Okay.
On the edges of all the plates, just kind of washes over him, kind of purplish colored, and then fades.
Looks at it, a little bit panicked, but not fully on. Okay.
That's just protection. If anything happens.
That's Titania. She's one of my new friends. She's gonna bring me back as a zombie if I die. I think so. Can you still do that?
Hang on. Let me double check because I don't remember. There are new spells, there are old spells. I don't think so anymore. No.
We should probably rip up that contract.
Yeah. I can do. I'm a druid from Taram.
And this is and again, I'm sorry, I can't remember the dwarf name.
Jackson.
Jexam, Jaxam. Jackson.
Jexam.
And this is Jackson. He's the one I told you about has been following people around. Not the one that's leaving parts of bodies in alleyways, at least as far as I know. I looks over, just sort of an open-faced but questioning look.
Not in a while.
There you go.
Comforting.
And these are the boots that belong to the person, most of whom seem to have gotten, what do we think, eaten?
It looked like it was
What did
not a
what did the
clean
note say?
cut.
Debt consumed.
Oh wait, you
Probably.
knew there was, I knew.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Eaten.
been
Seems likely.
there's been looks around. There's been a unification. The somebody moved in to the lawyer district, and they sort of took the accountants under their wing. Literally, I hear. And
Not your brother.
I haven't seen Keg in a while. I don't know. I don't.
Worse than I thought.
But yeah. So if you what's been happening is people who are in lots of debt to the accountants, well, they get a warning from the lawyers, and if they don't pay, they are found sometime later, typically in a back alley somewhere, some form of dead, with a witty and appropriate note about how their debt was collected in whatever fashion reflective of how they died.
The authorities haven't been told about this. Why?
They have been. They don't care. If you're a debtor, that means you're not making money, so you're not that useful.
Yep. Now we find it.
So I guess capitalism was the real villain all along.
Now we find it.
Have to ask, how's the business going? Are you in danger from this?
Not yet. I've been very good
Okay.
about not taking out any loans. But
You
I have to
know
close
you
the
can always come home and live with your mother, Ernie.
yeah, I know, but I might have to close the shop after next season.
That's all right. That's all right. Just come back. You know there's always work for you at the Broken Bell.
I don't want to be a
Or just a
server.
place
Like, Dad, I want to be
you
a
could
tailor.
make tablecloths for us. That's
Yeah.
all right.
One thing we can do is I did come here because I want to find a dress, and then we...
You'll be a tailor appointed to the royal court of Taram. How's that for a boost in business?
I don't want to move
Look
that.
grand
I
over to the door outside, huh?
I don't know to the other side of the world.
No, you just do
No.
it here. Do it by appointment to the throne of Taram. Huh? How's that? The undying god queen of Taram.
Huh.
Oh, we're working on that part.
How much are your operating expenses in a year?
Sort of
Grumman gives Jackson a real sharp side eye. That sounds like something an accountant would say.
Shut up.
You do get like this sort of like look of like panic fear as you ask him an accounting question. Like, carry the two. I don't know. I haven't had an accountant.
Rough guesstimate it.
Well, I mean, there's this materials costs, and then, you have to pay for the gala when you're showing off the fashions,
right,
and then
right.
it's,
Always got to.
I don't know, somewhere in like the realm of like 500 gold or something a year. Really goes into the running the business.
Great. Jackson reaches into her purse, drops 2,000 gold on the ground. You're covered for 4 years. Let's
Holy
move on.
shit!
Oh,
That's so
Guys.
we don't have to deal with this situation and we can go to deal with the bigger problem that we have.
Ow.
Salt of the earth, this one. Going in for a hug.
I will punch you.
In like a fun way, because that's so. I mean, we could have a little.
I will punch you in a place that does not feel good to be punched in.
That's most of them, really.
I mean,
Fair
there's
enough.
there is a place that specializes in CBT in town, but Axel just volunteers as he's like gathering up gold.
It's a tourist. It's a tourist town. I don't think we need to fit in a trip to the punching bag. The speed bag.
Speed bag, I think that's the better one. Yeah,
Yeah.
The tea bag? What?
There's a speed bag.
The speed bag.
Ah,
For those of you that don't know what CBT is, don't look it up.
Don't look it up.
Seriously, don't.
No.
Ew.
I didn't before I joined this group. Thanks, folks.
you're welcome.
I go to the wide, wide world of the internet. Yeah, no, this will. I don't. That's a lot of gold. It's heavy. How am I gonna put this? He's sort of looking around, so it's like trying to figure out how to move 2,000 gold because it's actually a lot of weight.
It is a lot of weight, to be fair. I don't know. That
If
is
you put it somewhere
officially
safe.
your problem.
Boxes
Sure.
maybe. Sorry.
know.
Dress, outfit. What are you looking for? What kind of a? We have a wide selection of artisanally crafted, Feywild inspired couture.
Well, I was thinking, and she's kind of looking around at stuff. And Titania only has 15 gold at this point. I've been away from Toronto for a while, and I have no money.
We just dropped 2,000 on my tickets
Because
on the house.
Sin doesn't spend any
Probably.
money as a rule.
Yeah.
I haven't been in the group when you've made any money yet.
And it's been a while. I'm looking for
Haven't been doing like
something
paid mercenary work in over a year.
elegant, but fairly simple. For a wedding. And she's kind of like putting around, and I think she's looking for
Oh.
something that's not one of the ones that's like super over the top or dramatic, but something that kind of fits like that.
So, I mean, well, we've got a variety of things, and they still take you through some of the cuts and styles. It sounds like you're something you want to be have tailored directly, so we can just take an inspiration and we can make it however you want it to look as far as it suits your needs. Let's see. There's an archfey cut which is very popular right now, and he'll sort of like point over to the to this thing. It looks almost like it's like sort of a accented robe. That has sort of specific areas where the robe has been sewn away. Like it's got like sort of a triangular window right here in the chest. It's got sides are sort of cut down. Like it still wraps around the sides, but it's like basically sideless. And then the back has this sort of adornment that looks. It's sort of like a built-in mantle where it has this sort of curving out, like almost like a tree branch feel to it.
I'm imagining
but
something
in
that's
fabric.
designed to look like wings.
Vaguely, like it looks like it could be wings or like the top of a cloak, or it looks like it's very like adjustable, customizable kind of thing, based on what you're looking for. This one in particular looks more like branches, more like tree branches than anything else.
I like that.
But yeah, so he will take you around and show you the variety of cuts and styles. And as he's doing that, that's where we're going to take our break. So if you're watching live, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. Otherwise, when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. We're back. A dinosaur story. So while shopping is had, the rest of you are at relaxing and having some food, some fine seafood, at the broken bell.
Yes, the broken bell.
The broken bell.
Because you can't beat it.
Right.
Makes no sense.
You can't beat a broken bell.
Bells aren't beaten.
Exactly.
Drums are beaten.
So even if you mended it, you still couldn't beat it. It's a way homer.
No, it would take more than a drive home for me to actually make
no
that
puns,
into
man.
any logical sense.
Well, that's all right. Let's go for a walk together and we'll talk about it.
Anyways, you're not there. The rest of you are.
I feel like this is a conversation that Gent and Grumman have definitely had,
Oh,
or at least
probably.
Grumman has attempted to have with Gent.
So, Vespia, Ithram, Ghent, Valdeth. What you doing?
All right.
Others
So-
are enjoying digging into some good fucking food.
Let's reiterate what our plan is. We've arrived here. We're going to try and find the mortal blade. Yes?
Ideally, but
And
I believe
then
the-
we're
the
going after the
immediate-
ritual.
well, the immediate layout that people had cast their individual votes for had us going, and this is part of the odds. The thing that I meant about the odd logistics of it was trying to find the Fiend Hunter's grave.
Sorry, Fiend Hunter's grave, which is close to where we think the ritual is, and we can at least do some recon on that. All right. So we're going to need to hire a ship.
Aye.
Oh, what kind of a ship are you going to need?
Miss Greta, so
Greta
glad
says.
you stopped by. You were going to be my very first point of contact on this. Yes, we're going to need to do some sort of marine expedition
Mhm.
into the Shadowlands, specifically. So we'll need something that can get us there and support a submarine expedition of some sort.
Well, there's a few different aquatic ventures along the docks, depending on what it is you're looking for. You could, depending on how far out you're trying to go, you could rent a taxi crab. You could also, let's see, there's also oh right, there's a team, there's folks that sell or rent sub-nautiluses, which are particularly useful if you're trying to get somewhere quickly. Basically, you've got quick and you've got safe. You've got the taxi crabs are a bit safer as far as transportation goes, and the sub-nautiluses are pretty fast if you're looking to get somewhere speedily. Of course, if you're looking for a regular old ship, well, there's a wide variety of yachts you can rent out, or fishing boats, pleasure cruises, a variety, depending on what you're looking to pay.
And these are all
journey
based in
towards the sun.
Swiggle proper?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, you simply head around to the seaside docks as opposed to the land side, and you'll find a wide variety of aquatic services at your beck and call.
All right. And are you familiar at all with settlements and the like within the Shadowlands themselves? Because we may be able to get there and then hire the vessel closer to our point of investigation.
It depends it depends on the island. Some of the islands aren't really habitable by civilized folk, but there's a few fishing villages that we do regular business with just across the way. That might be what you're looking for, and they might have a little bit more of a intelligence for you to gather.
All right. Well, that's very helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I feel like, from an efficiency standpoint, flying as close to where we can get, we're going to be faster if we take to the air than a ship would be. And if there's
Have you ever flown over the Shattered Lands proper before?
not to my knowledge, no. We swung more north from Everstone up through the Stoflate last time.
Word of warning then from an experienced traveler.
Of course.
More than just the landmass was shattered amongst the shattered lands. There are places
really?
where there are places where your normal everyday laws of physics don't necessarily apply. So if you're looking to fly, it's possible. Just be careful, because it won't always work the way you think it does.
Good to know.
Generally speaking, it's safer to take a boat, but it's not impossible to fly.
All right.
And anywhere on the
Do
exterior.
you know anyone who could give us more details on that? What sort of air hazards we might be able to expect?
That's gonna be natives, but I know that there are certainly places. What I've experienced is there are certainly places where gravity seems to invert itself for a little while. You'll occasionally come across an inverted waterfall out in the middle of the ocean. You'll have she's sort of thinking back to her own days. The bit about diving into a whirlpool. Well, whirlpools are pretty common out there. They seem to sort of spontaneously generate, and sometimes they'll go as deep as the seafloor.
Oh dear.
And sometimes they won't. All sort of luck of the draw dependent.
Wonderful.
Occasionally an island will move around.
Global-sized mystery spot. Wonderful.
Sort of, yeah.
All right. That one's for Mara.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's the folks that live amongst the isles will have a better idea of exactly what you're looking at, but it's not mapped, as it were, as far as like where the weird things are, because they seem to move.
Everything's in flux. All right. Well, that's excellent knowledge, and will definitely inform our decisions going forward, I suppose. My vote will be on. If we do take a traditional vessel, my vote will be on the Subnautilus. I'd prefer fast.
Oh, yeah. And they don't eat too much either, so it's always a good option.
Just gonna let that one ride.
I'm still not fond of diving and looking for the secrets to deification without weapons that can kill the immortal.
Of course. Well, and like I said, if we're lucky, we'll find the Fiend Hunter and then be at least able to draw some more knowledge on what the Sunken Temple holds and be able to make a more informed decision at that point. Miss Greta, you haven't heard any legends of ancient magical sunken temples out in the Shattered Land, have you?
Not particularly off the top of my head, no.
All right.
I imagine if there are some, wouldn't be hard to hide something out there.
Yes, if it's as chaotic a landscape as you indicated, it seems like that sort of thing would definitely be par for the course.
It sounds like we're about to be going into the Hive of Ruin, but water instead of ice.
Not quite as restrictive.
Well, that's good.
By which you mean it's on open sea, and thus the hazards are everywhere.
Mostly that.
But potentially so are the exits.
The exits are as well. And also, it's not that the landmass, an island will occasionally see. The large land masses that you see on the map are pretty stationary. No, it's simply like sort of actually points. If you look out the dockway, you can see it's like there's sort of like a small sandbar about 100 yards out, just sort of like just cresting over the water. So you look out that way, that sandbar right there erupted spontaneously a few weeks ago. Took out a fishing barge. That sort of a thing. It's not like it's not like they just get up and walk or anything like that. It's just sort of the landscape will occasionally shift.
Take the room as a metaphor, then. The tables generally stay where they are, but the salt cellars and the chairs are a lot more easy to move around.
Exactly. Precisely.
All right.
So anything the size of a proper island is going to be moving around, but smaller bits.
You perhaps have any idea what kind of creatures might be in those waters, or at least nearby?
So like some things about it. Fish, sharks, whales,
Giant squid.
possibly. No. The ghost of Titania, says Giant.
Yeah, no, that's just entirely me.
Anything particularly threatening?
I mean, I'm not an adventurer myself. Heard tale of there's nothing. I mean, heard tale of, you know, particularly large whales and cephalopods.
Knowing our fortune, we'll probably end up face to face with either a Leviathan or a Kraken. Or both.
Why?
A Leviathan.
Why do you put that? Well, that we have just goes back to eating crab.
Because if I say it, it'll either be that or maybe not worse.
Do you have a habit of willing your own worst enemy into existence?
No, but we have a habit of our own worst enemy deciding they were going to be there.
I mean,
We have a certain amount of luck, good or bad, yet to be determined.
oh no, mine's definitely bad.
I meant on the whole as a group. Yes, it has been unfortunate circumstances, and he reaches over and pats you on the shoulder.
From what I've seen, your luck seems to lean towards bad.
She reaches over and fills up another one of your mugs with beer.
The
Hey,
thing is, we haven't been able to get into actual fucking mercenary work in a fucking year because we've been busy saving the goddamn planet.
Well,
If you're looking for coin, there are places that are sure to hire adventurers here.
I'm running low on coin. I know Gent's running low on coin.
I mean, comparatively, yes, but on the other hand, there's always a sunken temple with potentially the treasure of bygone ages held within its watery depths.
Defended by immortal things that we don't have the weapons to kill. Probably.
Like I said, we don't know that for a fact. That's an assumption you're making, darling.
I feel fairly safe in the assumption that the secret to apotheosis is guarded by things that aren't mortal.
I'm going to really enjoy forgetting this conversation entirely once you walk out that door.
Probably be for the best.
Hmm? And she's been busy basically just like sort of cleaning dishes at this point. It's definitely the low period at this point. It's after midnight now.
Gonna tap on my link pearl. Titania, love, how's everything going?
Uh-huh. Good. I found one. I think we're headed back.
Lovely.
Keep an eye out for accountants.
Understood.
They're
Are we doing this
apparently-
traditionally? Should I look forward to not seeing this acquisition of yours for quite some time?
Up to you.
All right, then.
I look very good in it, so.
I imagine you do.
I mean, I've already shared the rings.
Also, it has to be tailored, so.
Right. Also, it hasn't been made yet, so.
After I made them twice, fucking.
That sounds like it's a story.
It is, and I fucking hate death whites. Or whatever, what was it called? Grave white or I don't remember the name.
Can't hear you,
Mask
Mark.
white, that was it.
Oh, I don't remember.
I'm sure it's a thrilling story, but and she sort
We're
of like
headed back now.
she sort of like trails off. She's like sort of staring just over, like sort of against shoulder a little bit.
Well, that's sort
Oh,
of
she's
follows
looking
that.
out. Gen will whip around and see what she's looking at.
You see what looks like a lime green visor just flit past one of the open windows.
Like a shark fin.
Was that one of those visors you were talking about?
Fucking accountants out on the
What's
streets tonight.
I want this to be a one shot really badly.
What?
Is there something wrong with that?
Used to be a nice, safe wharf district
You're new in
until
town,
the
right?
accountants.
But
And the accountants moved in.
not too long back, the members of the first party, as it were, got a new bit of a leadership in town, and they took the accountants under their wing, literally, and well, they've been really ramping up their collection efforts, as it were. Anyone who gets too far into debt ends up going missing in a back alley somewhere, and bits and pieces of them left behind with a note talking about how their debt was collected in some appropriately morbid fashion.
What do you mean by literally?
With the wings. Oh, I
Aye.
haven't seen them myself, but pretty certain there's a devil running them now.
Ballard looks at Gent. There's a gang
Really?
of devil accountants collecting people's souls.
Devil lawyers. Cannibal accountants, as far as I can tell.
Well, fascinating.
Look, I'm just saying they probably have a lot of
Oh,
money they've
yes.
collected.
Oh yes, no, I'm definitely.
You know, honest people keep the doors closed and their windows shuttered at night. Oh, if they're not open like we are, which, you know, always keeping an eye out. Fortunately have managed to not have too much trouble.
Well, it does get a bit
times.
disastrous. In most towns, the crime is decentralized, something of an anarchist organization. With the accountants on board, crime gets organized.
Well, anyways, don't let it trouble you. If you're not going into debt immediately, you're probably fine. They seem to be doing things pretty much by the book this whole time.
Got 2 scuzz in a gambling hall.
What do you mean I owed money?
Scuzz would be the one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just one of the joyful attributes of working and living in Swiggle. City of Powers, always something interesting.
And the Lady of Green doesn't feel like the disappearance of her people is worth her investigation?
They're debtors. No one gives a shit.
Well, something that a freelance gang of mercenaries might be able to look into at some point.
I'm sure someone will pay you for it.
Not to mention the money that we could probably just take from the accountants.
Exactly.
Careful, Lady of Green doesn't like thieves.
I wasn't saying thievery.
I know. Just be careful. More than one do-gooder has pocketed an errant souvenir, as it were. Lady of Green
And
sees
paid the
all.
price, I take it.
Precisely. There's one lad, young elf lad, came through not too many months ago. I was just wandering through people's houses, breaking pots, finding things inside them.
Motherfucker.
It's a damn shame what happened to him.
What happened to him? That's a morbid curiosity now.
Gave him a pair of iron boots and threw him in the water.
I'm sure he's down there right now, screaming.
Pro-
What? Yeah.
Probably eaten by a fish by now, honestly, but still. Be careful.
Word to the wise, then. All right.
So,
Well, I suppose we'll discuss things more when the rest of them get back.
eventually,
Send it to sleep with Azora.
eventually, the owlbear can and his feathered friends take their leave, thanking the Bellmenders. And it's just the Sealhearts now in the bar as Grummond and Sin and Titania return.
Made it back.
Welcome back.
So that's what happens. She puts the boot on the table. So if we carry this in the entire time.
Darling, did you find a planter?
Oh, I mean, I have the awakened flower pot. I think I still have that.
Yeah, you do.
Left that at home?
I left that at home. But no, this was a victim of the roving accountants.
We
Grummond.
were told about that as well.
Grummond is immediately going to Greta, and for the purpose of expediency, will have a quick, quiet conversation in Dwarven, basically catching each other up on what the audience already knows. Both
Yeah.
of them knows.
Ah. According to Mrs. Bellmander, they've got devil legal representation and apparently cannibal accountants, which I suppose one's life stands in pretty steadily as any option of collateral for most transactions.
Well, your friends have been having really interesting conversations, love. I'm going to go to bed before they start talking about how much they want to do various things that I really don't need to know about.
Probably for the best. Probably for the
You've
best.
got the run for the bar.
Thank you, dear. I'll see you at home. Don't worry about the extra rooms. I'll get them turned out when we get in.
She just nods and heads out. Whistles and the other two Bellmenders that were in the building go with her.
Okay.
Look, I very specifically do not say the A word out loud in public.
And
Yes.
I feel like it's a problem that we need to deal with.
Well, yes, but a bit of discretion in discussing it, love, might not go amiss.
Nope.
Look, if someone else wants to go hunting for it, I'm happy to let them die to the Guardians first.
Again, Guardians that we actually know zero confirmed facts about. We are operating entirely on assumption at this point. Literally anything could be out there, from another immortal demigod nonsense legion of monsters to 3 pufferfish and a sea urchin.
If the things guarding them are 3 pufferfish and a sea urchin, I'm going to be terrified.
That's actually on the breakfast menu for tomorrow, says Grummond from behind the bar, looking over the next day's menus.
I'd expect nothing less.
I think I lost a thread in here. Are we talking about the accountants?
I'm gonna say I was a
No.
little confused there myself.
Okay.
No,
That's
there's
just
a
me.
ritual that we've been researching for quite some
Okay.
time, and
Okay,
that's the
okay.
A word I was referencing.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I thought it was a turn.
Abacus.
As for the accountants, well,
Nope.
that's something that could be worth some money to deal with.
I literally just dropped 2,000 gold so we don't have to deal with this problem and
You
we
ha-
can save the world.
The issue with the accountants in this city might be worth addressing at some point in the event possible source of soul coins, just saying. But beyond that, I feel like we have bigger fish to fry sooner. If
Does
you'll
seem
pardon
like
the reference there,
Agreed.
Drummond.
No, I appreciate it quite a bit. And I do agree. It seems like with the new business in town, as it were, if we do need soul coins, they seem the sort to truck in it. But maybe take care of the other business that brought us to the area first.
Can't hear you, Mar.
Oh, one thing we could, I mean, if we swing back by Grifftop at some point, letting some of the, I mean, there's probably a lot of Griffin companies like us that aren't getting paid normally and might want to make money.
Yes, subcontracting it out is not the worst idea.
That's a bad idea
If
at
we
all.
can't make it. But we're heading out.
You'd
tomorrow
always,
then?
hire more people to the Steel Hearts than the 7 of you.
Hard enough keeping track of 7 of us.
With all that money that we have to pay them, right?
Yeah. I'll make sure I
Saving
have
the world does not get you a glamorous amount of money, apparently.
No, I'm broke. I can make sure I have spells for water, breathing, walking on water, etc.
That would be helpful. Anything that would.
I'm not broke, but I've apparently got less money than Jackson just dropped to avoid having to stay here.
Well, it was quite generous. I would consider it an investment in my son's business. Very kind of you.
Sure. That's definitely what it was.
But
Sure.
Mrs. Belmender made it clear that there's at least 2 forms of water conveyance available here in Swiggle. If we are going as fast as possible, we could fly there per our usual, although apparently the environment is chaotic, unpredictable, and sometimes hazardous, so we would need to be cautious.
Although, from what I understand, the hazards are in the water as much as they are the air, so...
Yes, but it's easier to crash into something you weren't expecting when you're going fast than when you're going a bit slower, generally speaking.
And yet you wanted the faster conveyance.
I do. I would like to get there as fast as possible.
Not opposed.
You did not come through again, Mara.
It'll still be slower than Windwalk, though, probably.
Yes, most likely.
So.
And once we get closer in, find some sort of local settlement and see if we can hire a vessel rather than having to hire one here and take it all the way.
Yes. Do we know exactly what island we're looking for this grave?
Do we?
No,
Nope.
I believe we have a general area.
You have a general area of where the temple is possibly going to be underwater. You have the only information you have about the Fiend Hunter's grave is somewhere amongst the Shattered Lands.
So I suppose our first task would be narrowing that down a bit, if we can.
Are there locals that we know of?
They would be
Any kind of sentients that live in the area?
I mean, no, there are people that live amongst the Shattered Islands. Not all the Shattered Lands. Not all of them. Some of the Shattered Lands are just like a pile of sharp rocks on an island. Like, but the ones that are habitable, there are people that live there.
Okay.
So we could either ask around here, see if we can find anything, although this is a larger town and asking questions tends to get people noticed, or we windwalk our way out of here and just land at whatever villages we can find as we get closer in and ask there, where at least it would be a bit more remote and less likely to draw the attention, statistically speaking, of problematic listeners.
Will they have the bigger ships out there, though?
That I do not know.
On that same topic, contracting a ship of any kind is going to cost money.
Yes.
We just talked about how we're getting tighter on that.
How much money are we talking about?
Garmin, do you know what average prices for hiring around here are? I mean, mass inflation does happen at times and in places, so I can't say it's... I understand if you don't, but...
John, out of character, can I bring up Lavenda at this point?
If you want.
Or
yeah.
Okay. Do I have any idea what the standard fees would be
Yeah.
to charter a ship?
Yeah, normally chartering a ship is depending on what you're trying to do, is about $1 a mile.
Okay.
But it can also, you can negotiate. Because of the work that Lavinda does, typically she charges on like a daily basis, collected at the week's end.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like, rather than $1 a mile, it's like it tends to be somewhere around between 5 silver and a gold per day.
Okay. Well, if you're just looking to get somewhere, it's usually about silver a knot. But my youngest girl, Lavinda, has does some charter sort of thrill fishing and so on. A bit of a sea monster hunter she is, and she usually runs about gold or so per day. But I'm certain she'd cut her old man a bit of a break. I'm just not sure if she's in port at the moment or not.
I mean, if we've got a personal connection, that seems logical.
Don't worry about cost. I will cover whatever it is.
Oh, Vespia, you're a good sort. You're a good sort. I again, I'm certain if we put it forward as being the end of the world and all, willing to help out. But I'd always like to see my children's business thrive, and I can see you have such good new members of the family. He sort of reaches over to pat Jackson on the shoulder, and then sort of remembers the comment about punching in the face, and sort of stops halfway and just kind of awkwardly gives a thumbs up. Well, I'm so happy to have welcomed you all to the family. So that's very much appreciated, Vespia. We'll work out, negotiate a price then, I'm sure.
Sounds like that's all stuff for tomorrow morning when people are awake.
Please pay my kids. I agree. It's been a long day. You've brought back 4 hands and filled some boots with flowers. Let's all go get some rest.
Apparently keep an eye out for accountants on the way to your house.
I watch the visors.
Yeah.
They're high vis for a reason.
Before she goes to bed, Vespia is going to take Titania aside.
No, you haven't gotten to the house yet. Are you gonna do it here at the bar or wait? Because you're actually the bed is actually somewhere else.
It's
okay.
This is
I'll
just
wait.
a tavern. We're going to Grumman's house. No, you don't need to apologize. You weren't here for that part of the discussion.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's just a bar. It's not an inn.
I could attempt to. And he starts fumbling around and he pulls out the magic component pouch where you just dump gold in, components come out. I could attempt to see if we could glean a bit more information about the Fiend Hunter's grave. If it's a well-known enough location, it could.
Might be worthwhile.
By all means.
To be clear, it wasn't a particularly well-known location. This was information. This is like information from a side conversation that Annabella had with her spy family. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't to remind you of the origin of the Fiend Hunter's Grave lead. It wasn't particularly like a well-known thing.
Yeah, it might have like legends among, because there are the Fiend Hunters as an organization. Yeah, they might have like legends that we've never heard of.
Yeah, it's specifically the grave of a Fiend Hunter of that organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if it's worth a try, couldn't hurt. But yeah.
So yeah, I mean he'll give it a try. So he dumps half of all the gold that he has left.
Oh my God.
50.
What I mean?
So hang on. No, I have 53 gold now.
Nice.
And then just a bunch of incense just pours out. And he
So
sets up
the way it works is basically like there's like a coin slot on the side of the pouch.
Mhm.
You put the coins in, and then
Clink,
there's
clink,
like a
clink,
there's
clink.
like a
Like a
there's like
parking meter.
Yeah, kind of. And there's like a sort of like a rotary mechanical sound, and it clicks and opens, and the components are inside the pouch. Just
Okay.
But imagine
So then,
having
yeah,
to
you-
pay for like 1,000 gold component by just clinking coins in one at a time.
That's why you carry fucking platinum, bud.
So yeah, then
Even
he'll
then, it
set
can
up
get
the
very
ivory
expensive.
strips. Set the incense in the middle. Snap his fingers to light it, and then little pyramids smoke while he ritually casts legend lore on the fiend hunter's grave to see if he can glean any information. He actually can't ritually cast legend lore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not a ritual cast
That's-
one.
I was gonna say, I
No,
don't
I was
think-
I was
That's
looking at the wrong one on my spell
Yeah.
list. But yeah, we'll cast legend lore.
all right.
Imagine a
Look
wizard
at the
archetype that
spell.
could turn certain spells into rituals.
Mhm.
It's called the Investigator. It's a mage hand press class. They also can't cast spells that aren't rituals, so. Person, place, or object. Here's summary, significant lore about the thing you named. Okay, okay. So, you learn about a fiend hunter named Gerhardt, who was well known within the organization itself, because he was an old man. And you don't. The fiend hunters typically have a young mortality rate. So getting to be old, particularly as a human, getting to be old is a rarity and one that is celebrated amongst the fiend hunters. He was a particularly boisterous and daredevil adventurer, who was hunting for something. He had been sort of quested to locate some artifact of great power that he determined to be within the Shattered Lands. The last known sighting of him was in a ship that was caught in an inverted waterfall that suddenly spawned beneath his ship. That was the last sighting of him, was his ship going up in a waterfall.
Well, that's new. We may be looking for a shipwreck. As his eyes kind of unfog. And I'll share. It's last known in a ship caught in a what the Greta mentioned, the inverted waterfall. It's the
And-
last known sighting of this possible fiend hunter.
Unfortunately, we won't just be looking for inverted waterfalls, though, because those things come and go, apparently.
All right. It at least gives us a baseline to start asking. Fiend hunter lost in a ship taken by one of the reversed waterfalls.
Which is an older human. But if we plan to scour the bottom of the waters, then I believe we may be looking for a shipwreck. Not the traditional grave.
Sounds to be. All right. Yeah.
Fiend Hunter's
We'll see
Grave,
if-
also known as Davy Jones' Locker.
See if young Miss Belmender knows anything, if she's sailed those waters before. And then go from there, I suppose.
So you all
Seems like
head
a plan.
over. You head over to the Belmender estate. Along the way, Vespia pulls Titania aside.
Vespia will hand Titania 500 gold.
Oh,
Please
Thank
take
you.
it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll use it for spells.
I like this group. You should not need to worry about something so minor as money. She will give her another 500. Give this to Gent.
Okay.
Hashtag socialism.
What's mine is yours, and 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 yours.
I love that our poor, impoverished nobles are getting handouts.
Right?
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Almost like if rich people actually spend their money, other people benefit, and eventually the rich people aren't just stupid rich for no reason anymore. Also, sometimes the city blows up and most of your savings go with it, but you
What
know
do
that's a
like
that's a
burn
side
on
issue.
A bunch of fancy
For-
alcohols, or you know.
For the first second there, I thought Get was about to start pitching trickle-down economics.
No,
What?
Ghent is currently pitching outlawing the billionaire class.
Please, we call it Swiggle down economics.
Doesn't so much trickle as pour.
Yeah. Just don't be at the bottom, or you'll drown.
Thank you, Vespia. I'm
You're
trying to keep
welcome.
all of us
D-
alive.
Does Veldoth have money?
She had some. I don't know how she is now, but
Here, she'll give you.
Strictly speaking, Valdeth has 3,000 gold on her.
Okay,
I couldn't
okay,
remember how
all right.
much.
That's why she said she doesn't have as much as Jackson just put down to not have to stay here, because Jackson threw 4,000 down.
No,
Ah.
Jackson put 2,000 down.
2,000.
Okay, sorry. I misheard for some reason.
2,000,
Yo.
which is enough for 4 years.
Yes.
That was it. Yes.
Valdeth
Yes.
is all right.
They still have about 1,600 left, but yes, they put down.
Vespia will ask her, does anyone else in the group need money?
You watch a moth fly out of Ithram's coat for some reason.
Wizards always need money for spell books.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah. I'm glad you and he. It's cute.
Thank you. I think you're cute too with Gent and Velta.
Yeah. We'll see how that. Hopefully. I got a wedding dress.
So you have to live,
Yes.
all three of them.
Oh, now it's gonna be super tragic when they die.
Right?
Yep.
You just literally had the conversation that guaranteed
Oh yeah.
at least one of you three have to die.
Maybe this time Mara will make it through a campaign without dying.
Yeah.
Seems unlikely.
I've died once already. What are you talking about? There's been or wait, twice. Was it twice? I was at least once. There was once in the Lich castle. I thought there was another time.
I mean, full on dying, but yeah,
Okay, that's fair.
because nobody else can cast Raise Dead or Revivify.
That's true.
The only one who can bring the dead back to life, except for Ithram can cast Wish.
I mean, you do know another person who probably can, because you know the druid.
Yeah, but
trainer.
we'd have to get someone there.
Yeah.
Anyways,
After she speaks with Titania, she will go over to Ithram, drape herself around him like she normally does, and put 500 gold in his pocket.
Oh, well, thank you. This is for.
Just being you. Let me know if you need more.
Just giggles to himself.
Aw.
So with a 26, do you think Gent caught most of this happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called
Gent's
the
just in
sugar.
his brain going, now he has to put out because she bought him lobster.
It's called the sugar mama.
You can't steal my joke.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So, as
We're
you
attacked by accountants on the way.
I'll die by a
none of you are debtors yet.
Gold is chum.
The as you
Roll on the random actuary encounter table.
as you wander down the coastline, you eventually find yourselves approaching the Belmonder estate, as it were. And Grummond, you definitively know that your youngest is in town because docked just off the coast, behind the estate, all of you see the fairly large looking it's a what's it called, galleon.
I don't know.
It's
I
a
was gonna say,
it's a
galleon,
galleon,
brigantine,
yeah.
schooner,
It's a
sloop.
fairly large galleon,
Don't-
just
don't make me
behind
get out my
Oh.
flashcards.
just behind the docked just behind the house, anchor down, sails up.
My
That
baby
looks,
girl's home.
it looks kind of patchwork. Like it looks like it's been repaired a lot over and over and over again, which is probably why it has the moniker on the side of it, the continual reconstruction.
That's my girl.
But as
Ship of Theseus.
as
I was gonna say,
She-
please tell me
she
there's
is
a
his-
first mate named Theseus.
She is his youngest daughter, not his youngest. Keg is his youngest. Just
yeah,
for clarity's sake.
youngest daughter. Yeah, so the continual reconstruction bobs into view as you head for your rest for the night. And that's where we're going to end for the week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.